There's no way in hell a woman would let me do this.
Nope.
If there is that woman out there, I'll give you my number.
1-800-Bueller, baby.
There you go. Ooh. Bueller baby. Hey everyone, welcome to Comics with Bueller. As always, I'm Bueller. Today is episode 110 of the brand new Coffee and Comic Show. And as you can see, I'm not alone. I got my good friend Bob here with me. Bob, how you doing today?
Doing fantastic, my friend. Can't wait to get into this episode. We got a lot to talk about today.
We do, man, and you're in a better mood than last week.
I am.
Like you said, you had a stick up. I mean, you had some stick going on or whatnot. You know,
Holding me up.
Holding you up. Holding you up. That's right. Maybe I was thinking something else. But it's nice to have you back. Nice to hear you laugh. You sound like you're feeling better. You're looking better.
Feeling better. Much better.
That's awesome, man. I'm glad to hear it. Everyone out there probably is glad to hear that as
Yeah.
well, because they're all like, oh, Bob.
A lot of people did leave comments on my channel, so thank you guys very much for all the support and love. I was overwhelmed by how much support it was given to me, so
There
thank
you go.
you.
The power of the comic community heals you.
Absolutely.
Something like that.
Come on.
Well, we always start off with the coffee that we're drinking. Right now, we're drinking coffee from Mocha Express, the official coffee shop of Comics with Bueller. What are you having today?
Today I have a 4-shot Americano that has been brewed with some cinnamon, and it is amazing.
Oh man, that sounds pretty good. 4 shots. How many? Have you had more coffee today, or is that it?
This is my second cup, so that's
Nice.
why I should have gotten 6 shots. That's what I usually do for a pickup.
Really?
But I'm probably going to be drinking a lot more coffee today, so
There you
I
go.
went with 4.
I had an energy drink earlier, and that's about it.
Did you?
I normally don't drink energy drinks, but they were on sale for $1. So
Go big or go large, man.
Is that it?
That's it.
I don't know. Well, I'm having the Bueller, which is the coffee that's named after me. It's just a peanut butter mocha. But this is why I want it. It's nice and hot. So you know what? I'm going to give it a shot. I already know what it tastes like.
The Bueller, ladies and gentlemen.
It tastes like perfection
There we go.
because it's the Bueller. So not bad. But if you're in town and you ever want to go to Mocha Express, let us know. We'll take you there. And the coffee's on Bob. So there you go. Let me go ahead and do a quick show rundown. Before I do that, though, I got to remember, this past weekend was my daughter's 25th birthday.
Happy birthday,
And
Paige.
Happy birthday to my lovely daughter, Paige, 25 years old, halfway to 50. She's feeling it. She's aware. She's in her mid-20s right now. But very proud of my daughter. You guys all know, you guys have seen her on the coffee video in the past. And I put out a video on her birthday, and she gave me a hard time. She goes, you didn't say happy birthday on that video. I recorded that video before her birthday, so I didn't know what day it was going to come out. But this is the video that counts, you know, as far as we're talking about, you know, family stuff or whatnot.
For sure.
Happy birthday, Paige. She might even be watching right now. A lot of times she jumps in the chat in the morning on Mondays. So pretty cool. The thing is, her mom is actually here in Portland as well. So both her parents are out of town during her 25th birthday. I asked her what she's going to do. She's like, nothing.
Isn't that isn't that the best on your birthday? You can just do nothing.
Yeah, eventually, you know, birthdays aren't really, it's like, it's a better day or
Yeah.
whatever. Just keep it rolling, you know. Like
For
I,
sure.
I have to be reminded how old I am sometimes. Like,
Yeah.
is it my 45th or 46th? I don't remember
Yeah.
when you get to a certain point. So
I just use it as an excuse to indulge myself. I'm going to go buy a comic book today.
there you go. Treat yourself,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Very good. Hopefully Paige treats herself and goes out and gets something really cool.
Absolutely.
So that'd be awesome. Happy birthday, Paige. Love you so much. Looking forward to seeing you hopefully pretty soon. I'm looking to make a trip down to Albuquerque and see my daughter in person again. So that'll be a lot of fun. Okay, so let me do a show rundown really quick what we got going on. We got the first 5 brought to you by Comic Crowline. We got our topic of the week, and our topic is, are you suffering from comic book burnout? And this is a great topic. There was a ton of responses. This is kind of a sensitive topic as well, because,
Yeah.
I mean, this is happening a lot because of a lot of different factors. So we have that coming. Then we have the final 5. Then we'll have Robbie's pick. We'll have Was It Good? That's where we review 3 books from last week and the 3 books we're going to review this week. And then we have our new segment, the Random Thoughts. And then we're going to be talking about WandaVision, the 4th episode. We're going to be talking about that Berserker 1 in 1,000 variant, whatever. Right. So that should be a lot of fun. But anyway, that's the rundown of the show. And I do want to tell everyone, we are recognizing the people who gave us super chats the week prior. So last week, we had Thomas Jackson. Thank you so much for the super chat. And we also had our buddy, the Rogue Trader. He gave us a super chat as well. I think that was enough for both of us to go have lunch.
Sounds good.
Thank you for the super chats. That's chalupa money right there.
Chalupa money.
Goes into the chalupa jar. That's the best jar in the world.
Amen.
And we also have a new member to our Patreon, Ganjabar's Medium. Hopefully I said that right. So thank you to coming to our Patreon. If you're interested in joining our Patreon, it's $3.99 a month, the price of one comic book. If you think we provide the value worth one comic book a month, please join our Patreon. It does keep the lights on and keep everything rolling. So congratulations, Ganjabar, for being the newest Patreon member. Thank you very much. That's awesome. And I think that's about it.
All right.
So let's get started. And actually, I'm going to go ahead and go first for the first 5.
Sounds good to me.
All right. So first 5 brought to you by Comic Proline. And the first one up here, I'm going to show some McFarlane love.
Yeah.
So I got that Philadelphia variant cover. I don't know what, issue 12? I think that's what that was, right? And then these are all the spawns that came out this week.
This week.
The different covers, yeah. So 314. I don't know which one is which as far as the ABC cover. Here's another 314. And another one.
Nice. And
the one I like the best, the sketch cover as well. I have a standing order to just get all the Spawn covers.
I do too.
It's it's a $2.99 cover price. That's kind of how I justify myself.
Yeah.
Buying more than one copy. I want to support Comic Proline for supporting us with a lower price of books.
Right.
So that's why I buy them all. So.
Yeah, I get them all too. This week, I didn't get the A cover. I have to wait for it. I'll be getting that later on. But I got them all too.
That's too bad. All right, buddy, you're up.
All right, sounds good. So this week, since I haven't done this for a while, I thought I would bring a bunch of random Daredevil books. So I got issue number 610 and number 611. Is that the one? Nope. All right. Then number 28. Of course, they go back and forth with the numbering. The legacy and then regular numbering. And then I got issue number 595, and this one is actually signed by Charles Soule when he came to Rose City Comic Con. I had him sign a bunch of comics.
There you go.
And then I got issue number 612. That's my first 5.
Daredevil.
You
love that stuff.
I do.
That's it.
That's it.
Doctor Doom, Daredevil.
Doctor Doom and Daredevil. DD.
DDDD. Quadruple D's.
I like other characters too, but those are my 2 favorites.
Oh, yeah, I bet. Well, very cool. That's our first 5. That went pretty fast. We're moving right along. We've actually sped this up pretty good, so we get to our topic right away because we're on our topic.
Right.
And like I said before, our topic is: do you or have you suffered from comic book burnout? And our topic is brought to you by BlackboxComics.net. You can go to their website, enter the code Bueller10. You save 10% on all your purchases. They got a couple new books coming out: Devil's Dominion, The She No Right. I probably got that wrong.
Yeah.
I can't remember the name exactly, but it looks pretty cool.
Yeah.
And the thing is, with those 2 books, they keep getting pushed back. They're done.
Yeah.
I mean, they've been done for a while. It's Diamond. It's kind of just dragging their feet.
I hate that.
Yeah, and unfortunately that's the case with all these smaller publishers. They're kind of at the mercy of whatever Diamond decides to do or whenever they put it out.
Right.
I mean, Devil's Dominion, I read that 4 or 5 months ago.
You did.
And I think the whole series has been done.
Yeah, and I've been waiting for Shino Ra for a while now.
Yeah, so hopefully they show up, and if they do, go get them. But if not, you can just go to their website and order them right there.
There you go.
Ship them directly to you. And they got a shiny cover coming out. Did you see that?
I did.
Oh my God, this thing, it's heading my way for the Devil's Dominion. I know I'm off topic right now, but man, I'm a sucker for shiny covers, and this thing is like shine all around. He showed me a picture of it, the owner of Blackbox Comics. Like, dude, that's awesome. So, even the back cover is all shiny.
It's a wraparound, yeah.
It's a wraparound one, so looking forward to showing that off. So.
Very cool.
It's going to blind us.
The glow.
Yeah. Anyway, back to our topic. Like I said, our topic is comic book burnout. And the reason why we're talking about this is because this was actually a topic brought to our attention by one of our viewers.
Yeah.
And that is Shane Lorison. I think that's correct.
Yeah.
And he actually mentioned this on a previous video. Hey, have you guys ever talked about this before? And he left a nice message or comment about it and stuff like that. And we kind of like, man, that's a really great topic, especially with everything that's going on right now and stuff. And I really wanted to jump on it. So, I mean, within the first day I saw that comment, I was like, Bob, we should do this. Whatever we had planned this week, we'll scratch it, and we'll do that some other time. Let's focus on this one.
Yeah.
So that being said, our first comment is from Shane.
Right.
And you were up first.
Sounds good. And as I read this, you have to understand, when I first read this comment, it really hit me in the heartstrings. Yeah. And I know it did you as well. And so thank you, Shane, for bearing your heart, because I think it's an important subject.
Yes, exactly.
So Shane says, yes, I definitely feel burned out. But more than just feeling burned out, I feel more left behind. I like the way comics used to be. The hobby has evolved into something different than what I feel comfortable with and enjoy. As I began taking comics off my pull list, I noticed I didn't read many of those comics. I had no desire to read comics I don't enjoy. It's like the passion and happiness I found in reading and collecting comics is now gone. And I can't find it now because comics are so different from what I knew. It's hard to describe how I feel, and it's frustrating that I feel so left out. I really look forward to Monday's video. Maybe hearing about others' experiences can help me out.
Before I comment on this, I just want to let everyone know I read every comment. And I mean, there's about 150 comments on this one, and narrowing it down to just a dozen that we have on our list was not an easy thing to do.
It's almost impossible.
Yeah, but I want you guys to know I read every single comment that's out there. And Shane, I suggest you go read them as well, because I mean, there's a lot of people feeling similar to how you're feeling, and that by reading those comments, obviously, like I said, we can only hit on so many. That might help you out and like make you feel a little bit better about the stage of collecting that you're at. Back to the comment itself. Collecting when you're an adult and collecting when you're young is two different things.
Absolutely.
Because you look at things a lot differently. Mm-hmm. And trying to recapture the youthness of collecting in your adulthood is almost impossible.
Yeah.
Because, you know, it's real life. You know, you for one, you're grown, you've experienced real life, your relationships, you know, your work, job, all this stuff, you know, bills, all that stuff. When you're young, you don't have that. It's totally, you know, you're somewhat carefree. You know, people's home lives can be different. You know, that's a whole different topic or whatnot. But for the most part, you don't have to do the adulting thing. I think that's a word.
Right.
Adulting or something like that. And so when you're in that area and you're just seeing the comic book for what it is, an escape or something like, oh, this is fun. You know, it's fun. You know, it's fun reading about Superman and Lex Luthor, you know, going at it or something like that. Or it's fun reading about Spider-Man swinging through New York City and stuff. And you don't even think twice about, man, I don't want to bend this book, you know, or this book might be worth money, you know, and stuff like that. Because that's not what I thought about when I was a kid. It was wrap it up in my back pocket, stick it in there, and, you know, ride my bike out to the whatever, a park or whatnot, and read my books.
Or trade them with my friends.
Or trade them with your friends.
Yeah,
you know,
I missed that.
Something like that. To get that youthness back is almost impossible. Because of what I said. There is things you can do to kind of get yourself somewhat into that point. And I always tell people, don't chase the keys.
Yeah.
You know, don't chase the books that you wouldn't buy if you didn't like it anyway. You know, stick with a character you like and just find that character, you know, over the different titles that you enjoy. And take the time to read it. Now, like I said, real life comes into play and you just don't have the time to do it. So it is a balancing act that you have to juggle. And with the amount of stuff that's published every week, it gets really hard to narrow it down and just enjoy something. I told someone the other day, I was like, just, you know, what's your favorite character? I like Wolverine. Well, just buy Wolverine books.
Yeah.
Just literally buy X-Men and Wolverine and stick to that. And you mean, eventually you'll branch out, but at least you're getting something you like. It's easier said than done because you hear all this information and stuff and you're curious about other things. But to be young again.
Yeah.
To be 25, you know, even my daughter, 25 years old, just to be 25, a whole different story.
Absolutely.
So what was your thoughts when you read that?
Well, I mean, and just to kind of piggyback on what you're saying about adulting and everything like that, there are moments where I get put into what I call, you know, the time machine or the fountain of youth. And there's been movies and TV shows that have come out in the recent years that have taken me back to those moments when I was a kid and put me in tears. And I enjoy that. But really what you're saying is true. I mean, to try to regain what you had from back then is almost an impossible thing to do. When it comes to comic books, I'll agree. There's so much that is coming out that I really identified with what he said and how he feels left behind. Because I don't think that the big two are really catering to their fans anymore.
Yeah.
And they're putting out a lot of stuff that's just dribble. And I hate to say that, and I don't mean to put anybody's reading down, but when I read a lot of stuff coming from the big two, a lot of it doesn't grab me. It's not quality. And then trying to get into indies, if you're not used to that, is a very hard thing to do. And so it can feel very lonely if you're trying to, stay in comics, and it's just so much coming out at once. And so I really identified with him in that. And but there are other areas that I also have felt burnt out from time to time.
Sure.
And this is one of those times for me, actually.
Yeah.
And it's very difficult to keep your head in the game when that's going on, because you don't want to buy stuff you don't want to read.
Yeah.
But it's a fact that does happen. And so Shane, thank you very much for leaving this comment.
One thing that kind of gets me back to the youthness is literally just going to a comic shop and flipping through back issues.
Yeah.
I mean, really. I mean, just take a couple hours out of your day. Like, I'll go down to this little antique store, and I'll just flip through their back issues or whatnot. They don't care what they got and stuff like that. There's no pressure in there and stuff. And it's reminds me of being young again.
For sure.
Because those little moments, I can remember doing that, going through these little ratty boxes and looking for, that looks cool type thing, and kind of doing the same thing. So if you need a little break, if you have your comic shops that are open right now, just go there and just flip through some back issues.
For sure,
take $20 and just buy random stuff.
Yeah.
Random stuff you wouldn't buy.
That's kind of the thing that I'm on right now.
Yeah.
Is that I've of course there are grails that I want, and I'll always be kind of pursuing those. But right now I'm looking for those stories that just grabbed me.
Yeah.
They probably don't mean anything to anybody else. They're not key issues or anything like that, but they were stories that I read that I had so much fun when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Shocked me, or took me to a place. And I'm collecting those because those are valuable to me.
Yeah.
And those remind me of a time that was like the golden age for me of collecting comics.
There's also another thing to that. We're spending quite a bit on this thing, but there's also another thing to where none of the stories really feel new anymore. Yeah. Because there's so many stories out there.
Sure.
And back when we were reading them when we were younger, they were brand new to us.
Right.
New concept, new everything. Well, fast forward, 40 years for me, 60 years for Bob. It's all the stories. All the stories have been said, or in some way. So you can obviously see similarities between one story to another story. So, but anyway.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on. You got the next one as well.
Next one is from Mr. Roboto, and he says, I'm definitely burned out on collecting comics. I keep accumulating them to the point that I don't own them anymore. They own me.
What does that sound like to you?
I don't know.
Addiction.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. I'm addicted to it. They own me. That's the thing. That's almost like a drug. I'm a slave to the drug or whatnot. I've said this before. This worst thing is to be addicted to.
Oh yeah, that's true.
So, but I understand because it gets in your head, and that's the type of thing with the burnout. It's not the time when you are sitting with your friends and you're talking about comics. That's the stuff you really enjoy doing.
Right.
Okay. It's the time when you're sitting by yourself and you're thinking about comics and you're like, man, am I going to be able to get that book next week? Mm-hmm. And you're worrying about that. It's like, I hope they have it, or what's this one? Is this one going to be worth? And you just sit there by yourself and it's in your mind and it kind of takes control and it's all you think about. You start seeing them. Comics pop up out of nowhere, that's a comic, it's not a comic or whatnot,
right?
But it really does. You just get overwhelmed by it. And spend more time with your friends talking comics. That helps. That actually does help when you have someone to talk to. Bob just said he's feeling a little bit burned out, but I can tell you when me and him talk, or if he talks to his friends, he lights up.
Revitalized.
It's a totally different thing,
Yeah.
If I meet someone new that either watched a video or is a comic collector and they introduce themselves to me, I light up, because it's a brand new thing. So that stuff energizes me, but it's those lonely times.
Yeah, for sure.
You start deep thinking this hobby that can really get you down there in that black hole. So you gotta be careful.
Yeah, for sure. And I would just say that anybody who feels like all you're doing is accumulating them. And basically, you have to ask yourself, why are you buying them at that particular point?
Yeah.
And if you're buying them just because of the fact that you're afraid you'll miss out on something, but you're not really excited about what's coming out, but you're still buying them, let them go. You know, there's always going to be.
You want to do it?
Yeah, I do.
No. Sing it.
Let it go. Let it go. Right? I'm a horrible singer. Anyway.
Dude, that was awesome.
I know. Anyway, I would just say let it go, because what'll end up happening is you'll get to a place where you look at your comic collection and you got a bunch of stuff that you do not want, and there's nothing worse than having that feeling, because that will sit there and completely pull you out of comics, and you don't want that.
Yeah, and I've said this before. I enjoy talking about comics more than I like buying comics. It's kind of because I talk a lot more about comics than I actually buy. I mean, I don't buy a lot of back issues anymore. It's not really my thing or whatnot. You know, I do every now and then, but in comparison to what I was doing, I was buying comics to talk about comics. Now I just talk about comics, and the buying of then comes later. So that, like I said, when you're talking about comics with a friend or with an audience or something like that, it feels a little different, because you get that community aspect of collecting, and that really is what keeps you going, is having the opportunity to share your hobby with someone else.
For sure.
As opposed to not sharing it with anyone at all.
Absolutely. I mean, it's the passion that keeps us there.
Yeah.
You know.
All right, you got the next one as well.
Next one comes from James DeVito. He says, I feel like there is so many books every week, from regular to variants to store exclusives, that it's really easy to get burned out. As opposed to when I was younger and you had the convenience store in the corner that got the comics on the racks, and there was only one cover for every book. It's a lot easier to get burned out nowadays. I still love reading and collecting.
The amount of volume of comics that come out every week is enormous.
It is.
And it's not just Marvel and DC. I want to clarify that, because they don't put out they put out a lot of variants, but they don't put out a lot of books. There's a difference. Like, I can go and look last week and Marvel put out 10 books. That's not a lot, for a week or whatnot, and the next week they put out 12. They normally don't put out more than a dozen books a week. It's just that when you click that button and you say show variants, and it goes from 12 to 112,
right?
That's where it gets overwhelming.
Yeah.
But as far as the publications, the individual titles, there's not as many as I think people think. And a lot of books are twice a month now and stuff like that.
Right.
What there is now is the flood of other publishers making books. But back in the day, there was Marvel and there was DC and then Archie and maybe another one. Okay. And then Image came along, and Dark Horse, and then all these, and now there's a string of third-party publisher or whatever, independent publishers that are putting out books every single week, and with the amount of books coming out like that with new titles, it can get overwhelming. But on the same hand, it's nice that there is so many titles. It's nice that there is so much variety to choose from. It's just the weeding out is what gets overwhelming.
Yeah. So I want to comment here, because this is where I have my piece of burnout. So on a weekly basis, I get a lot of books. And I get those books because I'm looking to review them on my channel. And you see me inside of the shop. I mean, I'll get anywhere from 15 to 20 books, sometimes 25 books a week, right?
Yep.
And do I ever review all of those on the channel? No. I mean, I'll review maybe 10 books at the most. Because I'm looking for the 10 best that I read that week. And sometimes I'll pick out some burners just to say, hey, this is terrible.
Yeah.
But, in order to keep up on all the stories, I still have to read everything. And because things have become so overwhelming in the last couple of weeks for me, I'm behind on my reading.
Sure.
And this is the part where it's like, all the books came out this week. And I was like, do I really want to read all these books? Because I'm behind, because I have to do all this reading to catch up, and I don't want to do it.
Yeah.
And so that's that piece of burnout that I feel that makes me not want to read a book, because most of what I'm reading is not all good.
Yeah.
And do I really want to be spending my time on reading a bunch of stuff that's not good just to find the gold? Right. And so that's the part that right now is kind of got me. I'm behind on reading, and anytime I get behind on reading, then it makes me not want to, to catch up.
Yeah, I kind of, right around Christmas time, I went through the same thing. It's like I missed 2 straight weeks of reading books, except for 1 or 2. But the rest of them I just missed. I think there's a whole pile of a week of books in my office that I didn't read any of them.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, crap, because there's normally ones I do read. Like I said before, it's nice to have the variety, and it's nice to go in there every. I think it's never been a time where there's more number ones every week. That's what another thing, because there's a lot of number ones every week, and they're mainly from third party or independent publishers.
Sure.
The number ones that we get, and so I'm always curious about a new story and reading something new and seeing where it goes, and that's where it gets me. Is because I mainly read that. That's my main thing, is reading brand new number ones from independent publishers, as opposed to X-Men number 17 or whatever one of the X-Men books are. And some of those titles, like the X-Men ones, I just have to sit there and say, okay, I can't do it. I can't read all the different X-Men books to figure out what's going on, from the Marauders to X Factor to whatever it is. It's just nuts, That whole universe is actually something I just like. I'm taking that whole thing and put it aside. I'm not going to pay any attention to it.
I did the same thing.
And it was a big chunk of books. I mean, how many books is that? That's like 12 books, 12 different titles, including X-Men, which is one of my favorites,
One of my favorites as well, and I hate not being able to read one of my favorite books because it's just too much.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that new X-Men book that they're doing.
The Legends?
The Legends one.
I really hope that just contains our...
Right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too. All the people working on all the X-Men stuff, I mean, that's great. Hickman and a lot of people really enjoy it. And a lot of people are doing the opposite, to where they've shut everything else out, and they're just reading those X-Men books. If you can dedicate yourself to just one pattern, okay, like that, I think you do enjoy it a little bit more, because you put all your attention on there. I also I'm sitting out the Future State books. It's just like, okay, here's 2 months worth of books. I don't really need to read. They don't have anything to do with the ongoing titles when they come back in 2 months. So I'm okay with missing them. And so I just decided to, except for like Swamp Thing, it's the only thing, it's a self-contained 2-part story.
Yeah.
I was just curious about it, to be honest. But all the other ones, all the Batmans, the Supermans, and the Justice Leagues, you literally just take a little 2-month break, Take that 2 months and go maybe find something else.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Take that time, I'm going to go check out this independent book by Boom.
Great advice.
Or whatever, But it was. I appreciate DC doing that, really.
Yeah.
Save me a little bit of money as well. So, anyway.
Yeah, understood. You got the next one.
Okay, this is from Leo Capetta, I believe. It says, I collected and just started collecting again, so I haven't felt burnout yet. However, I did have to get up to speed on how much the industry has changed, and there are a few things that irk me. I like the variants, but there is just too many, and it gets overwhelming. Also not a fan of the prices. I think you were spot on with DC using Future State to change the price points of books. I think there is we've talked about it many times, the different changes in the industry. There's a whole bunch of different things where it was, what it is now. But a lot of the fatigue right now, and this was a comment that was brought up quite a bit, was the variants.
Yeah.
And there's just a fatigue of it. It's just like there's so many. We get it. We like some of them, but there's so many all the time. And it's a nonstop barrage of variant after variant after variant. And sometimes, let's just say the Eternals again. I mean, it's just like, give me a break.
Right.
Do I need 40 variants or 50 variants or whatnot for it? And a second print coming, It's like, okay, you need a second print after.
And they got variants on the print, second print.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, okay. But, I think, like I said, that was something that brought up a lot. It's like, man, there's so many variants, and it's called variant fatigue.
Yeah.
And if you could, it's harder, it's easier said than done, but if you could just look at the book's number and not the cover, you'd be just fine. Just look at, if it says 55, I need issue 55.
Right.
Don't say I need the Delano cover. I need Amazing Spider-Man 56. Here you go. Or I need Daredevil number 26. They've got 4 different covers for it. I don't care. Just give me. I want to read it.
Yeah.
And like I said, easier said than done.
Yeah.
But the variant fatigue is a thing, and honestly, it's not going away. It's going to be there.
It's not. I was watching a movie just the other day, and there was a guy from, I think, Scotland or Ireland, and he was commenting on how when he goes into a restaurant in the United States and he orders toast, they ask him, what kind of toast do you want? And he's used to just getting toast. It doesn't matter, right? And he says, but you come here and you got wheat bread, rye bread, sourdough bread. He says, I just want some toast. I got all these choices. What am I supposed to do? And so, that's how you have to kind of treat these variants. Don't go in there looking at, the fact that it's overwhelming. Just pick the piece of toast that you want.
Yeah. Exactly.
I mean,
issue 55, issue 26.
Exactly. That's your piece of toast.
You know, they like Daredevil came out, and the shop was like, "Oh, we didn't get the regular cover." I'm like, "I don't care. Just give me what you got. You know, I just want to read it." You know, and you know, and like I said, easier said than done.
Yeah.
But the variant fatigue,
it's a real thing, man.
It is, and that's a lot of people's. I think that contributes most to the whole getting burnt out, is just seeing all these different covers for the same book,
right?
You know, and then finding out there's even more that you didn't even know about, like the next week or whatnot. So I think that's a big contributing factor. The next one is from O'Shea Outdoors PNW, Pacific Northwest. You think that's what it is?
I think that's what it is.
I think so too. I get burned out sometimes from chasing the hot books, and I have to remind myself what I love about comics in the first place. And that's the stories, art, and the characters. When I focus only on speculation and dollar value, I know I'm doing it wrong.
Yeah.
First thing I want to say is, as far as doing it wrong, I don't think there's no really doing it wrong. But, you know, because people collect it for different reasons. But I understand what he means.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Because, like you said, like you stated, like, I'm there for the art, the story, the characters. And this other thing keeps creeping in there. You know, the whole FOMO thing, or the value of the book, or the hot book. And it takes away from the enjoyment of those three things.
Right.
It sucks the life out of it. And then before you know it, like, I don't like this character. I don't like the art. I don't like the story. But, man, it's a hot book. You know? And that sucks, man. I don't want a hot book that I don't like anything about it.
Right. Absolutely. And then when you get that hot book, it may not hold the value that you thought that hot book was going to give you, because it's got a little tiny crease inside of it, or something like that. And so it's not going to be a 9.8.
Whenever I get a hot book, I squish it.
There you go.
I just squish it.
Squish it.
It's like, oh, this is a hot book. Like, oh, that's so good. Squish it.
There you go.
Yeah, that's my hot book.
Problem solved.
There you go. Easy as that, man.
But that's why we do these videos. You know, we try to present, you know, all different aspects of comic collecting, because no matter who you are, when you get into comics, when you first start collecting, your collecting style will change over time. And a lot of things, it comes by trial and error. And so what we present on the show are all the different aspects of it, so you can see other people's pains, other people's victories, and so it can kind of help inform you, so that you don't step into something that you don't want to step into.
Yeah.
You know, and so and that happens a lot. We see people start to get into books and start to chase things, like we said on the speculation video. You can get hurt doing that. Yeah. And that's what we do. We don't want anybody to get hurt.
Yeah, I don't chase the hot book to the expense of my regular books.
There you go.
My regular books comes first, and honestly, I don't really chase hot books at all. It's, you know, I'm not interested. But that's, I mean, if the things, you should always, if you like it, that's what you should buy first.
Right.
If you're enjoying something, I enjoy this book. I enjoyed Deceased. I really want to read number 7. Oh, but that Daredevil 25 came out. And even though I don't read Daredevil, and Daredevil's horrible, you know, but it's a hot book. Yeah. And I only got $4 in my pocket, you know, to spend on a book. And what am I going to do? Am I going to buy the Daredevil, or am I going to buy the Deceased? I'm going to buy Deceased.
Yeah.
I would buy Daredevil too, because I do like Daredevil.
Yeah, I know.
I just like throwing it out there.
But that's a great point.
Yeah.
You know, you got your mainstay story that keeps you, you know, your love of comics, but then you have this hot book, and now you got to make a choice. And there are people that are going to choose that hot book because they're afraid of missing out.
Yeah, some people are going to come back to me. I was like, oh, but then I'll just buy the hot book and then sell it, and you'll buy the other stuff. I'm like, you know what? Everyone sells. They're going to sell the books. Everyone, I'm going to sell it. I'm going to sell it. Very few people sell.
Yeah, absolutely.
Very few people do.
I know.
I'm going to keep it because it'll be worth the money. It's worth $25 now, but if I keep it an extra month, maybe it's worth $30.
Right.
Oh no, it went down to 20. I still didn't get the C7 yet.
I love it.
Okay, I got the next one. This is from John Thomas. He says, if you're feeling burnt out, let it go. That's a song that Bob sings. But seriously, take a break and return when and if you're ready. You know, the saying is, you love something, set it free, and it returns. It was meant to be. I find that to be the healthiest option. Sometimes a break and all you need to reignite your passion, and gives these wonderful books the love they deserve. That's another thing that's easier said than done, taking a break from it, because, I mean, it does have a little bit of thing. But I will say this, and this is interesting about this comment. Ryan, who was on the show, took your spot a couple times because you weren't feeling that great. He quit. he's done. He put on his Instagram. He goes, all books for sale. He's selling his Hulk 181. He's selling his Amazing Fantasy 15. I messaged him. I go, are you really selling that? He goes, yeah, I'm done. He goes, I'm out. He goes, I don't want to do it anymore.
Wow.
And I go, what about your little dollies? Because he does the Funko Pops.
Funko Pops.
Stuff. I call them dollies. He's like, yeah, I'm done with those too. And he was doing a channel. I mean, he was doing his dad bod shenanigans, and he had like 3,000 subscribers, and he was, doing all right. He's like, yeah, I'm done. He's totally done.
Did he say why?
Yeah, not really. He just.
I mean, I don't want to get into personal stuff.
Yeah,
but
just kind of burnt out. He's just concentrating on work and whatnot. And I mean, we talked about those books that he had on here when he was here, and that those were going to be for his kid or something like that when they got older. But he's totally done. He's totally pulled the plug on it, and they're up for sale. And I don't know if they're sold yet, but he's selling all his other stuff as well.
That's too bad.
And he's just pulling away from the whole pop culture type stuff. So now whether that is a break or a complete cold turkey, I don't know. But taking a break, like I don't recommend taking a break cold turkey and just I'm not doing anything for a while, okay? Because I think you should keep at least a little one foot in the door.
Yeah.
Keep something. Take a break. Yeah.
Take it down to just what you like. Period.
Yeah. Or maybe switch to something different. Like okay, for this I'm just gonna get some trades. For something like that. Just just keep up to date a little bit. Somewhere or one or two titles. Don't if you got a pull box at a comic shop, don't dump that. Keep that going for them. Just go down to whatever their minimum is, 3 titles, and just whatever it is, just go there. At least you got your foot in the door. At least you're still a little in there, but you're taking a little bit of a breather and not really paying much attention to anything.
Right.
So.
Right.
But sorry to hear about Ryan.
I am sorry to hear about Ryan, and to each his own. I mean, of course, we're not telling you what to do. We're just giving you a suggestion.
I'm telling you what to do.
But I mean, if you do take a break cold turkey, a lot of times that can have a completely opposite effect than what you were hoping to do. And it makes it much difficult later on to step back in because you feel like you missed out on so much.
I think that's the problem too. I think when you do kind of quit cold turkey, and then when you get back in it, you just explode.
Exactly.
And it's almost the type of thing to where like, hey, I took 6 months off and I'm back, and now I'm spending more than I ever did. Yeah. And I'm like trying to get the 6 months back as well. That's usually what happens.
Yeah, exactly. So don't put yourself in that situation.
Yep. All right, Bob, you're up.
Absolutely. So the next one comes from Tiger Tails ZZ2.
Nice.
All right. He says, I think I'm currently going through a comic book burnout. I've been collecting since 1983, and I really think it's coming to a head for me due to the current price increases and the FOMO over the past couple of years. I always stuck to DC and Marvel, but my discovery of so many independent books due to watching YouTube spec videos has increased my purchases each week. Not to mention, I can't keep up with reading all of them anymore. Whew.
We kind of talked about like how many books there are, and he's kind of mentioning that and stuff. And kind of the explosion of independent books and how many there is. Because even if you go to your comic shop and you see all the books are on the shelf, there's probably another 100 books that they don't have or they didn't order from these other smaller publishers, that just put out maybe 2 or 3 books, but they're still available.
For sure.
And not every book is listed in previews as well, so you kind of have to do a little bit of digging. And even the ones that are in previews, you really have to dig through previews to find them as well. So there is a ton of books, and we kind of hit on that a little bit. But he also talks about the FOMO as well. Yeah. And I think that's the FOMO and the variants are probably the 2 biggest contributors to possibly burnout of the comics. You get tired of hearing you missed this book, or this book is coming out, are you going to get it, fear of missing out, and you get tired of the variants. So the combination of those 2 things can burn you out really fast.
Absolutely.
And it's not it's a fun hobby, but it's a complicated hobby.
It is, because there's so many different aspects to it.
Yeah. So, I mean, it shouldn't be as complicated.
Right.
And whether we contribute to that complication, I don't know. I think we try to make it a little more simpler for people to enjoy comics. For sure. Probably not. I could be wrong. But it is when I think it is a complicated thing. Everything to keep track, and everything, they say that, progress makes things better, but not necessarily.
Yeah.
You know? I mean, key collector, is that really, this key collector, does it help you or does it add a little bit more stress?
Yeah, I mean...
I think people can make the argument both ways.
For sure.
I think the information that it provides is helpful, but I think it also, I got an alert.
There's that as well.
And you're like, I turn off the alerts.
Yeah.
Because I don't want them. I was like, I'm done. I mean, I don't even subscribe to Key Collector anymore, to be honest. I mean, I still use the free version, but I don't subscribe to it anymore.
Yeah.
But, stuff like that. Not just Key Collector, but I'm talking about all the information that's provided. This YouTube channel as well, Comics with Bueller. There's a ton of information that's being provided to you now about comic books. We're contributing to that along with all these other things. Mm-hmm. Is that beneficial towards collecting? I can see the argument both ways because I like it, honestly, when it's more simple.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I hear you. I mean, and that's what it comes down to. I mean, the original comment by Shane where he says, I like the way comics used to be.
Yeah.
And back in the day, even back in the 90s when everything exploded, you still had your big two, and then you had the independents that came on the scene, but they were still predominantly superhero books.
Yeah.
And in this current comment that we just read by Tiger Tales, he talks about the FOMO of independent books. There's more independent books that he's buying now than he ever did before.
Sure.
And that comes from, he said, YouTube videos. And I'll admit that I've gotten that too, but not from a spec standpoint. That guy Robbie, that guy gets me every time. But I love watching Robbie on Pop Culture Philosophers, and a lot of times he'll bring up books that I don't know about that I'm not reading, and I get turned on to new stuff that probably wasn't on my pull list, and I appreciate him for that. But if you watch Robbie's show, it's never about spec.
Yeah.
He's telling you about it because it's a good story.
Yeah.
And so that's what I appreciate about it. If you're looking at this and you're getting FOMO from, the spec videos that are coming out on these independents, I would suggest don't go down that route.
Yeah.
Just look for good stories and read what you like, because there's way too much out there. That's it. That's just it,
No, I think you should do the opposite.
Exactly.
Buy multiple copies of number one for that spec.
There you go.
You're
going to make a lot of money.
Don't even read the title. It doesn't even matter what the title is. Just buy it. Number one. Oh, this might be a good option.
Right, exactly.
What's it about? I don't know. Who's in it? I don't care. Who wrote it? I don't know.
Right.
Who cares? It's going to be worth money.
But there are some people who do that. More power to them, But when it starts to infect everybody else's comic collecting, be wary of that.
Yeah. All right, you got the next one as well.
All right, the next one comes from Luke Gonzalez. He says, the number of books in my pull list has dropped, and it's getting smaller. I was reading a lot of Marvel, and I cut almost everything, even X titles. And X-Men is my favorite. I'm suffering a burnout of single issues and put more focus on collected editions, and I'm starting to get manga. I'll probably never be burnt out on reading, just maybe what I'm reading at times.
That's a good option. Mm-hmm. I mean, the option, not manga, that's not really my thing, but I'm talking about the collector's editions or the trade paperbacks. Because what that does, you get to enjoy the story. You kind of, the FOMO is kind of taken out of the picture because on those collector's editions, they can always reprint them and stuff like that. Because some are worth money, don't get me wrong. I don't know the whole ins and outs of the whole omnibus thing or whatnot. But for the most part, you can get what you want eventually.
Sure.
You just have to be willing to wait a little bit. You know, that's the thing about those collected editions. Obviously, the month-to-month issues, they come every month. And then eventually when they get enough to put a trade paperback out, it's usually 5 or 6 months down the line, they put them out. But it is something that you could do. It is something that actually somewhat intrigues me a little bit, on, say, maybe on this independent title, I wait. And I just buy the trade paperback in a few months and get that instead of buying the number one issue and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I think that's a solid option. I think my opinion on trades is somewhat switching over because it really wasn't my thing. But right now I kind of see the value of it. And the more, I think that simplifies it. I think that's a perfect example of something that was taken. I mean, there's no variant covers. I mean, there might be, I don't know.
Right.
But not to the extent of what the regular issues are, okay? There's not really the FOMO aspect. It's just the pure enjoyment of reading a story of some issues that are put together in an edition that you can get, for the most part, whenever you want it. And a lot of times, if you go to a comic shop and, they're out of this collector's edition, they can just punch it up and order it for you.
Yeah.
And it'll be delivered, the next week or whatnot, their next diamond shipment or something. to where, you know, the other issues, number one issue, it's only good, you can only order it, you know, before FOC.
Right.
Or something like that. So you can't get it again unless it's a back issue or something.
Right.
So I see the value of that. And I think that's a good option for some people that might feel like, man, I really want to step away, but I really enjoy it. This might be an option.
Yeah, no, this is an option I've actually started to take up on.
Yeah.
You know, really, I love floppies, you know, more than anything else. But really, I don't have the room, you know, in my house. And so, like, you know, I missed out on Middle West.
Yeah.
And I now collected the editions of Middle West, and I'm enjoying reading that immensely. I get to read the joy of Scotty Young's writing inside of that. It's just so amazing. I love it. But I also at the same time, I'm not chasing, you know, the whole 18 issue series and floppies. Just don't have room.
Yeah.
And so at least I get a chance to enjoy the story.
There you go.
So,
all right, I got the next one. This is from Milvet Comics. It says, I've been back collecting since the end of 2017, and I haven't felt comic burnout until just recently. I think much of it has to do with FOMO, as you mentioned in your last video. I was finding myself purchasing more than I wanted or grabbing books I didn't necessarily want, which was causing me to get overloaded and overwhelmed at times. I found myself wanting to take a break, but that's easier said than done. You know, we hit on pretty much all the aspects on this earlier. Another thing I want to kind of bring up during right now, because he said he's just now kind of experiencing the burnout. Mm-hmm. That might have to do with the fact that, you know, with the COVID thing going on, and there's really not much outside to stimulate, you know, to go do or things, you know. Mm-hmm. And it's like, oh, so all your time is focused on this one thing.
right.
And when all your time does get focused on one thing, it's easier to get burnt out on it.
For sure.
And I think that that's actually taking a place with a lot of people who left comments on here. It's because we are isolated. Because of the season or whatnot. You know, I was telling you the other day, man, I can't wait till the sunshine comes out.
Yeah.
And I can't wait till a restaurant opens up or a movie theater opens up just to go do something, man. It's just like, it's been a year.
Yeah, I mean, just even the coffee shop opening up so the Portland Comics crew can get together and chop it up.
Yeah, it was last time was March.
Yeah.
It was literally the last time we all got together was March of last year. You know, just to sit there and talk about comics.
Right.
You know.
Right.
And it's like, we're missing out, you know, and I think that is causing the burnout because your focus is limited, you know, as far as what you can do on your free time, and so all your focus goes to one thing, and then, you know, you get narrow-minded, you know, and just that's it, and it's like, oh, you know, and it starts to become a burden, you know.
It
so
does.
I'm hoping that you know, a few months down the road, you know, we come down from the mountain or whatnot, you know, and we can go do some stuff.
Yeah.
You know. Going to Florida and taking that little break was awesome.
Oh, I bet it was.
Oh, man. I was like, oh, geez. But then coming back here, oh, my God.
Ever since he came back, though, he's taken up bird watching and baking, and he's doing well.
I don't know what you're talking about. All right, I got the next one as well. This is from Josh Gillifon, I believe. Mm-hmm. Says, great question this week. Was just suffering from this recently. It's not that I'm getting burnt out in comics, but the organization of it all. If I were single, it would be one thing, but trying to fight for the space with the wife for the comics can cause a little chaos. No, not quite to the choose me or the comics stage yet, so at least I've got that going for me. But he's getting close. That's always a problem.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it's, I don't know. I mean, I've told you this many times. I mean, you come in my house, there's no way I can get away with this if I was with someone. You know, if I was, I mean, I'm just not honest because I mean, literally, my house is a stage, like multiple stages to film videos. The living room, the kitchen, the dining room. That's not what they are.
Right.
There's stages to film comics.
Yeah.
There's no way in hell a woman will let me do this.
Nope.
If there is that woman out there, I'll give you my number.
1-800-Bueller, baby.
There you go. Ooh. Bueller, baby.
I know. I agree. And, you know, even...
I mean, you got a lady at home. You know,
I do.
You got to balance this and stuff. I remember when you were like, hey, we're remodeling, and this is going to be my little area or whatnot, and stuff. So I mean, how does that conversation go?
It goes good. I have a great wife. She completely supports what I do, and she tries to help me within limits.
Yes.
Because it can't take over the whole house. And so before I had this little tiny corner. You guys remember if you watched my show, and then we remodeled our basically our guest room, and in that room. I have this nice little setup there now, which is pretty cool. It's still a small space, but it's nice. The Bob Cave. Yeah. But inside of one of our alcoves, that's where my comic collection is. And I have a rack that is full of short boxes. And now I've started to go beyond the rack. And that's where it starts to get a little cramped and into her stuff. And that's where the conversation starts to happen, And you have to realize that, I need to compromise for her as well. Yeah. But... it's true. You need to have that conversation, and it's not for everybody.
Yeah, that's it. That can contribute to burnout. It's if you go to the store and you buy a bunch of books, you're going to have that conversation when you get home.
Yeah.
If you got the lady there or whoever, it comes up.
It does.
What's that? What'd you get there? Nothing. They were giving it away.
The conversations that have started to pop up here lately is like, you're about to fill up another short box. You know that, right?
Yeah. How much did you spend today at the comic shop? Right. I don't know. $10. Really? Looks like a lot more than $10.
Right, exactly. Stacked this big.
They were on sale. It was on sale.
I got 20 books, 50 cents a piece, honey.
Exactly. Okay, I got the last comment here. This is from Thomas Rich. He says, yes, I'm currently getting ready to reduce my pull to 4 or 5 books or step away again. I started collecting again a couple years back when DC Dark Knight's Metal. It was a fun event. I needed to focus on something other than real life for a while. I love listening to comic book YouTube channels as much as the comics. They were great learning about storylines that I missed when I was not collecting. But lately, I can only listen to you guys. Thank you. Rockin and Robbie, awesome pop culture philosophers, and a couple others. So many of them just seem to love to complain. So between prices going up, too many events with tie-ins that have nothing to do with the event, the social justice themes being forced into stories that used to be good, and the ranting of so many people, I'm going to take another break again soon. Great show, guys. So let me go ahead and comment on the whole comic book YouTube thing. Mm-hmm. There's an abundance of that out there right now. That there's more so than there ever has been. And there's a lot of people out there that are very negative all the time, and they just, I've said this before. It's like, why do you even talk about comics when all you do is just hate them? It's like, why would you do this? And they still collect them. Okay, they buy comics every week. They collect them, but they hate them.
Yeah.
And I was like, that doesn't make any sense. And I've there's a ton of that out there, and that stuff, honestly, it's garbage. Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm not trying to offend any of the YouTubers out there, but if you're literally buying comics just to complain about comics, and there's no redeeming factor that anyone can find what you're talking about, you're wasting your time, man. I mean, life shouldn't be about complaining.
Right. Absolutely.
It should be about something you enjoy and something you enjoy with others as well. But to each their own. They're going to do what they're going to do. I appreciate you finding our channel and Robbie's channel and the few others that you enjoy. I would assume that the few others are probably similar to what ours is, to where we talk about every aspect, but for the most part, we put a positive spin on it. Whether we agree on it or not, we're still positive about it.
Absolutely.
And that's the main difference between our channel and a lot of other channels. Mm-hmm. Don't walk away, my friend. I mean, Thomas, I saw here that you're really going to take a break soon. Don't do it. Like I said, if you can limit yourself to maybe a couple titles here and there, keep 3 titles, maybe go a trade paperback thing and whatnot, for a while, but just keep like one foot in the door.
Absolutely.
Because we need you, to be totally honest. Yep. And I took a long break. Obviously there was, it wasn't a lot of times people take breaks because they don't have a choice, and there's other things in life that come up, and you kind of have to take a break.
Women.
Yeah, women. You didn't say it right. Women.
There you go.
Love you to death. 1-800 Bueller. But that's different from what we're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Those are probably for the best choice that you have to do.
Yeah.
It's like I took a break because of this. When you take a break because you're burnt out, that's too bad, because that's not what this hobby should be.
That's right.
You shouldn't get burnt out of this hobby. I understand that people can, but when that starts to come into play, just sit back and say, what do I enjoy about it? And how do I focus more on that part?
For sure.
And give my attention to that part of it. And then the stuff I don't enjoy, I can go to hell.
Let it go.
Yeah, let it go.
Let it go.
So, there you go. Anything, Bob, on this last one?
I just say, Thomas, we have really enjoyed having you in the community. Always talk to you inside the chat. Thank you for watching my show. But I hear you and I feel you, and I agree with what Bueller's saying. Don't just fully walk away if at all possible. We love you in the community, and if you can whittle it down just to keep your toe in the water, so that it makes it so you don't walk away fully, I think that'd be the best thing. Yeah. Because we need you, man.
Yeah. Monday, 5 a.m. Pacific Standard Time.
There we go.
This is a really great topic.
It is.
I really enjoyed this. What did we talk about last week?
We talked about store exclusives.
Yeah, I didn't like that topic. It wasn't really my bag.
It's true.
Obviously, it's not. You know that.
But I appreciate you letting me have.
It was a fun topic.
Yeah,
I didn't mind talking about, but it's not really my thing. So I mean, it is what it is. But this thing, it really, whether I don't want to admit it or not, I've probably suffered from a little bit of burnout. With everything that I do, as far as related to comics, buying comics, reading comics, talking about comics. Like I said, my favorite thing is to talk about it.
Yeah.
And to talk about comics really revitalizes you. The conversations you have with your fellow comic collector at the comic shop on Wednesday are awesome.
Yeah.
And that could get you going. That could be really fun. You go to your comic shop Wednesday and you meet your buddy there and you're sitting there talking, hey, did you read this? Did you read that? What do you think about this? Those get you energized.
Absolutely.
It's those dark moments. You gotta stay away from them.
And COVID's kind of taken away from that.
Yeah, exactly. So, stay away from that. Go Taco Bell. Get some chalupas. Grab a good book, sit down and read.
Read a comic book.
You'll be just fine, man. Maybe some Mountain Dew, I don't know.
There you go. Baja Blast, man.
There you go. All right, so that's our topic, man.
I think it was a good one.
110. Next week will be a different topic.
Well, yeah, but next episode is what?
Is our 3-year birthday, I guess, anniversary for the Comics with Bueller channel. So it'll be 3 years next week.
That is awesome.
That is pretty cool, man.
Yeah, it's going to be a good show.
I don't know. Sure. Probably. Yeah. So, all right, let's go to our final 5, brought to you by Comic Proline. Bob, you can go first this time.
Sure. So since we talked about store exclusives last week, I brought a few store exclusives. These are not all store exclusives, but most of them are. This is the issue 1 of Haha, and this is the Donald Trump variant, which is pretty hot right now.
That's awesome.
And then Daredevil 25, this is the second print, and the Virgin cover.
He posed for that.
Did he really? The Virgin cover is a store exclusive. And then here's one from Frankie's Comics. This is also, I can't think of the artist's name, but this is also second print of Daredevil 25. Nice. And then I Breathe the Body, our good friend Brett Hess. Here's the cover that he did.
That's awesome. I gotta look at that.
Yeah. And then the last one isn't a store exclusive. This was actually a Comic-Con variant of Canto 2 and the Hollow Men issue number 1. There's my final 5.
That's a pretty good 5. I like the Brett Hess ones. Oh my gosh, he's taking the stand with him.
Almost dropped the stand, not the comics.
Man. All right. That Brett Hess one is pretty cool.
Yeah, it is.
I think mine's on its way, so
come on.
Looking forward to it. All right, I'm going to show some DC love because people are like, how come we don't show DC books and stuff like that?
There we go.
But these are all DC books. I don't even think I showed a Marvel book this week.
You didn't? Wow.
Yeah, Justice League Dark number 1. These are all, well, I don't know. Plastic Man number 1.
I like that cover.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Tales from the Dark Multiverse Blackest Night number 1.
Very cool.
Rorschach number 1. I think this is the only DC book on my pull list right now.
Really?
Yep. And Strange Adventures number 1. So there you go. All DC books. All number 1s.
Very cool. That's a great final 5.
Yeah, I have very little DC books right now. Like one short box.
Well, you took a break because of Future State, right?
Well, yeah, but even the stuff before, it's like,
Yeah.
it just whittled its way down. So it's like Batman, Flash, and Justice League, and that's about it.
Yeah.
So anyway, those are our final 5 brought to you by Comic Proline. Let's go ahead and go to our next segment, and that would be Robbie's Pick of the Week.
Hey everybody, I'm Rockin' Robbie Billups from Pop Culture Philosophers Station. You're checking out the all-new Coffee and Comic Show, and my pick of the week is...
Batman Black and White, issue number 2. I don't know about you. I have not read this comic. This is one that I really wish I had read, but I got shorted on the first issue, and usually when that happens, I won't grab the second issue. So I haven't read this, but hearing Robbie's review, I want to read it.
Yeah, I don't have it. I didn't read it.
Yeah.
I don't have it. I have the first one. Actually, I have the first one. That's right. It's all there. It's signed by everyone.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's the one I had people sign at the thing. I just needed a blank cover. That's the only one they had, so that's why I bought it. But I haven't read it, and I haven't read number 2. I guess it's a bunch of short stories, if I'm not mistaken, and they're all in black and white. Go figure. That's why it's called Black and White. But, I guess we'll just have to take Robbie's word for it. He might be wrong. He's probably wrong this time.
You think so?
Yeah. He's got to be wrong every now and then. No, he's wrong. He's wrong. Pay no attention to the guy behind the curtain.
Right.
Anyway, guys, go check out Robbie at Pop Culture Philosophers. He might be right. I don't know. Okay. Let's move on to our fan favorite segment. Was it good?
Was it good?
And you know what, Bob? I'll ask you first, all right?
Okay.
All right. So first book up on your list is Daredevil number 26. And Bob, was it good?
Yes, it was good. It is a King in Black tie-in, and from that aspect, it's not on par with the normal storytelling inside of Daredevil. They kind of had to do the tie-in, but at the same time, I really appreciate it because Chip Zdarsky really kept with the main story that they've been telling. And there's some Elektra moments in here that are cool. There were some Matt Murdock moments that were cool. Didn't quite like the very end of it, but for the most part, it was good.
Do you think he likes having to write a tie-in?
I don't think so.
Yeah. I've always been curious about that.
Yeah.
Because, they're kind of, I don't know if you want to say forced upon them, but I'm sure that, they're pushed towards that direction.
Yeah, it's like, here, shoehorn this into what you're doing.
Exactly. So I read it. I thought it was pretty good. So.
Yeah.
All right. Next one up on your list is Something is Killing the Children, number 14. Mm-hmm. Bob, was it good?
When is it not good? Seriously, I have not read a single issue yet of this series that hasn't been good. I really loved where they went inside of this particular story because they kind of dove deeper into the supernatural aspect of the House of Slaughter. And I can't wait for the next episode, the next issue. Yeah. Because it was great.
Are you feeling a little burnt out on this title a little bit?
No, I'm not.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
I'm starting to feel it a little bit.
Really?
I'm starting to feel as though the 14 issues that we're in so far could really be summed up in about 5.
Really?
Because I said this the other night on a different show. She's pretty much at the same point she was in the first issue. She's in this town. She's there to kill the monsters. And she's still in that town, and she's there to kill the monsters.
Yeah, but we know a lot more about the backstory that's coming up, and that's intriguing me.
But they could have explained that in other story arcs.
I guess you're right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, she could have solved it in the first 5 issues or whatnot, and then moved on to another area or another thing that she's been summoned to or whatever you want to call it. And then you get to know her backstory through that, and that story provides more information into her backstory. To where this one, it's literally, she's still at point A.
It's true.
She's still in the same town with the same kid, and they're literally like, she's asking him, "How did you come up with the whatever?" It's almost similar to what she asked in the first issue, and she's still trying to hunt down all the monsters and kill them in the same area. So
yeah, I could see your point, but I'm still glued to it.
Oh, and so am I. Yeah, it's still on my pull list, and I really enjoy it. But I just wanted to put it out there. So
I hear you.
Move it along. All right, next one here is one of those future state books. Mm-hmm. And this is Dark Detective. What is this? Number 2.
Number 2.
Bob, was it good?
It was all right.
Okay.
I mean, I like Dan Mora's artwork. I love Tamaki's writing. I love the colors inside it. And this is one of the better stories in Future State. I'm not really digging the new Batman, but the Dark Detective I am. I don't know if that's because Bruce Wayne is still involved in it or not. I don't know, but I'm enjoying it more than the rest of the stuff. The second story, it revolves around the Red Hood, and it's done by Joshua Williamson.
Sure.
But I was so put off by the artwork that I just couldn't read it. I couldn't stand it. And so I'll probably go back and read it again just because I love Williamson's writing, but I'll have to divorce myself from the artwork because it just turned me off.
What's your thoughts on the borders for these books all being the same as far as the covers? Do you like that?
I think it gives them all a feel, and DC's good at doing that.
Yeah.
Do I like it? I don't think it's as appealing as it could be.
Yeah. It reminds me of the Ultimate books that Marvel did.
Yeah, exactly.
Ultimate X-Men, Ultimate Spider-Man, whatever.
Right.
They all have that same border around them and stuff.
Yeah.
I've never been a huge fan of that.
Nah.
That's why I skipped them all.
I hear you.
Except for Swamp Thing.
That Teen Titans, though, buddy.
Yeah, forget about it. I'll get it for $1. Oh, wait.
All right.
All right, man. So those were year 3. It looks like I'm up next.
Absolutely. So, first one we have is Department of Truth, number 5. So, Bueller.
Yes, Bob?
Was it good?
Sure. It was good. It's, no, I really enjoyed it. I thought it was really good. It's a little bit of a swerve. Did you read it?
Yeah.
Okay, so they swerved them, and I thought pretty much everyone probably saw this coming eventually.
Yeah.
The main character, he's been told over the first 4 issues, hey, this is what's going on. You're here to help figure this out or debunk this for the good. And now these quote villains of the story, like, hey, guy, what you've been told really isn't the truth and stuff. So they're flipping the script on it, so you really don't know what side is good and what side is bad. And I kind of thought that's what they were going to do. Mm-hmm. It's very similar to X-Files. If you ever watched the X-Files show, the cigarette smoking man, okay, that was the main character in there. Sometimes for the most part, he was a bad guy, but then sometimes he was doing it for the good,
right,
and stuff like that. And they realized that's what it was. So it went back and forth, and that's kind of what I'm seeing in this book. So I'm pretty sure this is influenced by the X-Files. Mm-hmm. I mean, probably a lot of people were influenced by that show, to be honest. But I thought it was good. I enjoy it. It's redeemed itself from issue 3, which I hated, and I'm still on it. I love the artwork. I love the whole, dirty style. A little bit of dirt does some good.
Yeah, it's all very gritty.
Yeah, dirty, nerdy. I don't know. Nerdy, dirty.
There were 2 things inside the book that really grabbed me. Number 1 is the guy tells him, I'm going down the rabbit hole now, when it's really him that's going down the rabbit hole. Yeah. And the other thing that he said was, whoever controls the truth controls the world. Yeah. And that's what the whole crux of the story actually is. So it was good stuff.
Very cool.
All right, so on to the next one. And the next one is Spawn, number 314 by Image Comics.
There we go.
Bueller.
Yeah.
Was it good?
Yeah. It was actually really good. It's actually my pick of the week.
Really?
Yeah. I thought they introduced a new character, or you get to see the character. They've talked about it, the Omega Spawn or whatnot. Mm-hmm. The guy's huge. The guy's like 3 stories tall and stuff like that, and he just looks like a huge spawn. And then the other character, the orange guy, I can't remember his name. Never remember his name. But he's in there as well. Spawn just gets his ass kicked, at the very beginning, and he just kind of all through the book he gets his ass kicked and stuff like that. Yeah. So that's pretty cool to watch.
Cool.
But the one thing I noticed about this book, and I really like it, Spawn is a very dark title, as far as the panels, they're always kind of dark and brooding and stuff, This one was like they're at the beach. It was bright sunlight, and it's like the artwork popped off the page because of the background was light, It looked really cool, so I enjoyed that. So
nice.
Definitely worth the $2.99. Definitely worth picking up more than 1 copy because of the great covers as well. So really enjoyed it. My pick of the week.
Nice. I have this book as well. I've got 3 of the covers, but I did not read it. Every once in a while, I have to take a step back from Spawn, and this is one of those times. And so I'll be enjoying to go back and read this eventually.
I think you'll enjoy it.
Nice. Okay, so the next one we don't actually have the cover
book,
for. But that's Amazing Spider-Man number 58 by Marvel Comics. Bueller, was it good?
No, it's horrible.
Yeah.
Did you read it?
No,
You're lucky.
I haven't read Amazing Spider-Man for over a year just because I cannot stand where they've gone with the character, and it's just been terrible.
I can't even tell you what happened. I read it twice, and I still don't know what happened. And I was like, it's bad. I mean, I don't even want to give you more time, to be honest. I mean, I was really hoping it would turn the corner after this kind of storyline ended or whatnot, but it's still kind of the same storyline, even though it's not labeled the last whatever it is or something. And it just, I don't know, it doesn't interest me at all. It's just horrible because it's Spider-Man.
It's their flagship character.
Yeah, and it should be the one that's jumping off the page and, you know, bringing in new readers every couple of weeks and stuff, but it's not. So,
God bless our buddy Sam, though. I saw him post the other day where he said, I think it's getting better.
He's been saying that for a while.
I know.
The only one he's been saying that on Fantastic Four, and that's finally coming true.
Right.
So, I don't
God
know.
bless you, Sam.
There you go. He's dedicated. But there you go. Yeah, the last one. Yeah, I was dreading having to read it.
Oh,
to be honest, I heard it wasn't that good, and then I read it, and I was like, I better read it again because I don't want it to be biased because I already heard it was bad.
Yeah.
So I just kind of put that behind, and it was still bad. I was like, oh my God.
It's too bad.
Yeah. Oh well. And then even like the preview of the next one, I was like, I don't even want that one. What are you gonna do, right?
Right.
So there you go. That's our was it good? But what are you gonna read next week?
So next week we got a lot of great books coming out. I'm going to read Canto 2 and the Hollow Men number 5. That brings that series to an end. Looking forward to that.
Thank God.
Hey, it's going to be back in April. Then I'm going to read Chained to the Grave number 1. Looking forward to that, and also Maniac of New York number 1.
There you go. That looks pretty good. Aftershock book.
Yeah.
Yep. Let's see. What do I have? I have Swamp Thing number 2, the only feature state book I'm reading. That's a 2-part series, so it'll be done.
Sweet.
Deep Beyond number 1. That's an Image book, and of course Venom 33, which is continuing the King in Black storyline. And that's what I'm going to read, and that's what I'm going to review. Hopefully, all 3 of them are good. You know, I mean, I hope they're all good. I don't want a bad review.
Yeah, of course.
But Spider-Man sucked.
I keep hearing it.
All right. So there you go. That was the full Was It Good segment. So let's go ahead and go to our newest segment. You know what that one's called?
Deep Thoughts or something like that? We're getting into Jack Handy here.
Random Thoughts.
Random Thoughts.
With Bob and Bueller. Close enough, right?
Right.
There you go. So we have a few different things we're going to cover on this. The first one was WandaVision episode number 4 finally came out. It was like 19 minutes long. I mean, they seem to get shorter.
It was 34 minutes long.
That's 7 minutes is literally the credits. I timed it. I go, this is done. I look at the thing, it says 27 minutes. And then I look at it and it says it's 34 minutes.
Is there an end credit scene?
No, they don't put that stuff on there. So it's literally 7 minutes of just the blurry stuff.
That's funny.
But anyway, okay, what'd you think? I know you're a big fan.
I loved it. You know, the first 3 episodes, you know, I was invested. I think I like all the Easter eggs more than anything in those episodes. But this episode gave me all those good MCU feels that I've been waiting for.
Yeah.
Having Wu on there, having I can't remember her name, the character's name, but Dennings from the Thor movies. Having them there, and then showing what happens to Monica Rambeau, and then the realization. When Wanda's powers drained a little bit, that she's basically carrying around the dead body of Vision.
Yeah.
That was, I mean, it was all the MCU goodness that I've been waiting for from the show, and it hit all the right notes for me.
There you go. I liked the beginning of it where they did they blipped back into, because you haven't seen that.
Yeah.
And I thought that was really cool where you actually see that start to happen. And they really just glossed over that in the Endgame movie or whatnot.
Right.
But that was really cool to see that and see the people's responses to all these people start coming back, here 5 years later. So I enjoyed that. I told you earlier, the first 3 episodes really didn't do anything for me. I feel as though you can watch the 3-minute preview of the last 3 episodes and then just watch this and you were good to go.
I hear you.
And because it was, like I said, there was a lot of just gimmick, fluff type stuff. And even the Easter eggs that you were talking about, you can find them all in this one. You know, they all kind of lead to this one.
Yeah, there's a lot of them in this episode. You're right.
Yeah, so I mean, everything's there in this episode to find out. So I enjoyed it. So I kind of look at this one as actually the beginning of the movie, if you want to call it a movie, because even though it's episodes and stuff, I look at it as like almost like its own movie,
right?
Just broken into the different sections or whatnot. So if you haven't watched it yet, just watch the preview of the first 3 and then watch this, and you're good to go.
Yeah,
the first 3 are very
they're campy.
They're campy and they're forgettable, I guess. Maybe not forgettable. They're just not really necessary. They're just kind of we need to make this show. You know, 9 episodes.
I think they tried to create a mystery in a dynamic way. And
yeah.
So anyway.
All right, there you go. That's the WandaVision episode 5 is on Friday. So
on Friday.
I set midnight, 12:01. I watched it.
I did the same thing.
Yeah, dorks. Couple nerds. Some other news: the Justice League Snyder Cut has a release date. I don't
March
even know.
18th.
Is that why I didn't even check? I just heard that there was a date.
March 18th, baby.
Are you? Apparently, it's going to be episodic. You know, it's not just one thing. They're just dividing it up in like 3 or 4 parts or whatnot. Are you looking forward to this?
I'm very much looking forward to it. Only because, you know, there were some things that we found out after the fact when we got that Justice League movie that was done by Joss Whedon.
Yeah.
You know, he did what he could with the movie, but when we found out what we didn't get, I was more excited for the Snyder Cut. We got Doomsday, we got Green Lantern, we got a lot more of the Superman in the black. And there's just a lot of elements that I wanted to see on the big screen that we didn't get. And so I've been excited for the fact that this has been coming out for a while.
Yeah. Do you think there is you look at Marvel, and you look at their Marvel lineup of movies, you know, how they all, the phases and everything, how they all add up to each other, you know, they're all to the end game or whatnot. Do you think DC is even close to something like that?
No.
I mean, I don't even think. I honestly think at this point, you know, years and years later, they should just do standalone movies.
Yeah, I mean, just tell a good story.
Yeah.
Right. Don't try to copy Marvel. Don't try to create your own universe. I mean, that's a great thing, but really, when it comes down to it, you failed.
Yeah.
Right. And just tell a good story. That's why, you know,
you failed.
They did.
Yeah.
You know, the Wonder Woman movie that just came out, fail.
Yeah.
You know, and it loosely ties in just because you still have Gal Gadot. You know, Aquaman is still kind of tying in, but we're getting a new Batman. We're getting, you know, so it's not a cohesive universe anymore.
That new Batman's not even part of this universe.
It's not.
It's a standalone thing.
But
which I think, like I said, I think that's, you know.
But they're still going to try to do the same thing Marvel's doing. They're creating a multiverse type thing because we're getting Keaton back as Batman, right? And you know, we'll see what happens with that. But my prediction is I'm excited for the Snyder Cut to come out, but I and there are a lot of other people that are, but my prediction is just like the rest of the Snyder movies, there's a bunch of people that are going to hate it.
Yeah.
Right? And so when it comes out, you're going to get nothing but a bunch of mixed reviews. That's my prediction.
There you go. Good prediction. All right, next one here is the Berserker.
Berserker!
By Keanu Reeves and Matt Kent or whatnot?
Something like that.
I
would like to make a movie, Berserker. You know, remember that?
All right.
Clerks, man.
Going back down to normal here.
All right.
The reason we're bringing this up is because they have a great exclusive, a ratio variant. What's that? What's the ratio?
1 in 1,000.
1 in 1,000. Okay. So that means that the comic shop or whoever has to order 1,000 of these books, of the regular ones, to get the one variant. Okay.
Right.
And the thing that's special about this variant is it's autographed by Keanu Reeves. That's really the only thing. You know, I mean, it's a nice looking cover, but really, a 1 in 1,000. Give me a break.
Have you seen how much that
has to be made of gold?
Have you seen how much that book is already being sold for? Not on eBay, right? But just by the normal solicit for that book. Have you seen how much it's going for?
I mean, I think it's like $2,500.
About $2,500.
But none have been sold.
No, not yet. But
I mean, that's the thing. I mean, they're putting a price tag on it. Okay, of $2,500. Will somebody buy it for that? Probably. I mean, that's probably, you know, it is. But, you know, like I said, the way to get the book is to order 1,000 books and you can buy that one copy. Now, when you're able to buy that one copy, it's cover price or whatnot.
Right.
But you just have to buy the 1,000 to get there. And whatever that 1 in 1,000 whatever they want to market at, because the $2,500 price that they're marketing on, they're just making that up.
Yep.
That's not a retail price. That book, that 1 in 1,000 book, still has a $3.99 price point on the back of that cover.
Yeah.
Okay. But let's just talk about this 1 in 1,000. Okay. And making a shop buy 1,000 copies of Berserker. Obviously, not a lot of shops are going to do it, but there are going to be a few that pull the trigger on this. How... I look at it as like, Boom's going to come out, and I love Boom. Okay, they're going to, man, this is the #1 selling book of the month. All right? Of course it is. Because you got shops ordering thousands of copies, not selling thousands of copies.
Right.
You can order as many as you want, but you have to sell those books.
Talk about inflating your numbers.
Yeah. And that's what it's going to be. Keanu Reeves, I love to talk to that guy. He's like, yeah, I got the #1 comic in the 2020. Come on, man. You know what? You got to sell the tickets. Don't just print the tickets.
Right, exactly.
You know? But, I mean, that's a little outrageous.
I think it's ridiculous. I think it's absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, this is about as close as we get to the crap that was going on in the 90s. And, you know, I don't know. I'm not on board with it.
Yeah.
And, you know, hey, $2,500 price tag. Hey, that's great. But don't do this.
I'm curious to see how many they print. You know, because I mean, like I said, it's based on how many people order. So I mean, it's not based on the total order. It's based on the individual shops have to order that amount of 1,000 to get it.
Right.
So it's not like, oh yeah, between these 3 comic shops, they ordered 1,000 books, so we're going to print one of these. That's not how it works. They make one depending on how many are ordered from that one shop. So if one shop orders 1,000, they can buy that one copy of the 1 in 1,000 ratio variant.
Right.
So I'm curious to see how many shops, I mean, I don't know if they release that type of information, actually pull the trigger and buy 1,000 copies of that book.
Not many shops can do that.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that, like I was telling Bob, I go, if you were to pull the trigger on that, and if the other cover is actually going for $2,500, and time will tell because obviously none have been sold.
Right.
Just order to 1,000. You know, they're going to pay like $2 a book or whatever it is, you know, for the wholesale price. Sell those books at $1 a piece. You know,
right.
At least get $1,000 back or whatnot. At least sell through them, and then make your money selling the variant, the
Absolutely.
ratio one. Because no comic shop wants to sit on 5 long boxes of Berserker #1.
Nope.
Because that's what that is. That's 5 long boxes. What's in that? Berserker #1. Oh,
I guess it's better than Turok #1, right?
there you go. We don't know yet. What if it sucks?
Oh my gosh.
So, I mean, I don't know. I saw that, and I was like, you know, people have been talking about that and stuff. And, I mean, the big kick is the whole Keanu Reeves thing. That's what it is. It's an actor, famous, a lot of people's favorite actor, to be honest.
Berserker.
Yeah, you really like that, don't you? But he's signing a book. So, I mean, that's what it is. So, there you go.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll be fun. We'll see. We'll see what happens.
All right. Well, we'll have to wait and see. Like I said. I don't think I got my copy coming.
I don't either.
Can you imagine going to a comic shop and saying, hey, yeah, why don't you order me 1,000 of those?
Nope. I can't see it happening.
Some people will, man.
I know.
Some people will do it. So anyway, that's kind of what we wanted to talk about. That's our random thoughts for this week. That's about it. You know, I think we covered quite a bit of stuff. Like I said, or like you said, next week is our 3-year anniversary for being on YouTube. So I mean, I guess we're juniors or freshmen? I don't know, whatever it is.
Seniors.
Senior, man, we're up to a senior now. Well, you're a senior.
Oh gosh.
Yeah. You got your ARP card, your free coffee on Monday.
You know what, dude?
I get free coffee at Denny's, but they just closed Denny's, so I'm screwed.
You know, this could be a weapon. Too,
Yeah, there
right?
you go. Real quick, I also just want to say yet again, happy birthday to Paige.
Yeah.
And 25, you know, and so pretty proud of her for everything she's doing and stuff. So
Proud daddy. Happy birthday, Paige.
yeah, happy birthday, Paige. Love you so much. All right, that's it. Bob, anything before we go?
Yeah, I filmed my my review video this morning. Very happy about that. That'll drop before the show actually happens. So got a video coming out, and we'll see what happens when we put the rest of this week. But I'm back on track a little bit.
That's good to hear because Bob, we miss Bob. What was the thing? Hashtag we want Bob.
We want Bob or whatever.
We need Bob or whatever.
We need Bob. You gotta stop doing that stuff, man.
I didn't say nothing. I don't know if I'm eating chalupas this week or not. We're like 100 likes away from 1,000 on the preview video. We could get there. I don't
You're
know.
going to eat chalupas anyway. It's just whether or not you do it on video.
I did have to eat a chalupa on Robbie's channel.
I know. I saw that.
He's like, hey, we're going to eat chalupas.
It was funny the difference between the two.
Yeah, dude, his chalupa was weird looking.
It looked like it wasn't cooked.
It was a pancake. Did it not look like a pancake? You guys probably watched it. It looked like, and he's like, no, this is real.
You had to question his chalupa. That cracked me up.
I would. It's probably a fake chalupa. Invites me on his show, and he doesn't even show up with a real chalupa.
Right.
What kind of bush league stuff is that?
Did you have to blow that thing up or something?
All right, Bob, you want to take us out? Go for it. You got it. Well, here we go. Let's see if he's going to get it right this time. Last week you did pretty good, but you did miss part of it.
Yeah, okay. So
All right, here we go.
Don't forget to like and subscribe. You know what to do. Thanks for watching.
That's not it.
We'll see you next time. Bye.
Dude, you should have dropped the thanks for next time.
Okay.
You had it. Oh, here we go. You ready?
Don't forget to like and subscribe. You know what to do. We'll see you next time. Bye.
That's awesome. That's it, man.
I knew I'd get it sooner or later.
Congratulations.